Welcome to our June 2017 Park City Market Talk webinar. I'm Ron Wilstein, a broker at Keller Williams Luxury Properties here in Park City, Utah.
And I'm Dean DeLeon, buyer's consultant for the Wilstein team at Keller Williams here in Park City, Utah.
We have a lot to share with you, so we'll jump right into it. And of course, it's summertime. Dean, best time of the year, huh?
It is the best time of the year. Granted, skiing's always fun, but it's nice to see the leaves come out and the sun come up to get out there and enjoy all the summer activities here.
This is definitely the time you want to grab your mountain bike, get it all tuned, ready to go, or head over to the lake. You can go to the Jordanelle and some of the other nearby lakes and enjoy that. And of course, the resorts are either open or Deer Valley is about to open. Mountain bike, zip lines,
Concerts,
horseback riding,
coasters.
Yeah, there's really a lot to do here during the summer, and some of our two favorite events are just around the corner here.
The 4th of July, obviously, coming up here on the 4th of July. Always a very fun activity in Park City. Big parade that goes down Main Street all the way down to the city park. Everybody shows up for that. And then lots of activities afterwards as far as music, food, drink, rugby game. Lots to enjoy, and then cap the night off with a fireworks show at both Park City Village and Canyons Village, so you can see the fireworks from pretty much anywhere in Park City.
Yep. And then that, of course, is followed in August with the Kimball Arts Festival on Main Street. If you're local, you can get in free the night before, which is the 4th. Otherwise, it's Saturday and Sunday, the 5th and 6th. And always fun things to buy there and unique things. So it's worth checking out if you've never done that before. We're also going to cover, as we do each and every month, the Park City Market Update, letting you know what has sold and prices so that you can be in touch with any subtle changes in the marketplace.
We'll go over why knowing median sold prices is important as an indicator of length of time that it will take to sell your property.
And then we're going to talk about Park City's home selling season as it is basically now. Certain things you may want to do if you're thinking about selling your property.
And then there's been some flood changes here in Park City, or flood zone changes, I should say, here in Park City. So we'll go over some of the new zones and then what to do if you are in it or maybe being taken out.
Yep. So all a lot of good information. So we'll begin by talking about the Park City real estate market. Over the past 12 months, there's been 1,347 sales. That consists of homes, condominiums, and vacant land combined. That's all real estate brokerages combined. And that is down 1% or 7 sales from the 12-month period the year before.
This first graph here is representing the year-to-year comparison of closed sales. In the red, you'll see those numbers represent from June 2016 to May 2017, where the silvers are going to represent the previous 12 months from that. The home sales are up 4% from 507 to 526. Condos are down slightly, 3% from 661 to 641, and then vacant lots are down 3% from 186 to 180, so very small change there.
Now let's take a closer look. Here we're looking at homes, and we've broken this into homes located within the Park City city limits and the Snyderville Basin, the county area of Park City. You can see that in the city limits, it's down statistically 1%, but just 2 sales, so 158 the year before, 156 sales this past year. But we see a nice 6% increase in the home selling in the Snyderville Basin, with it rising from 349 sales the year before to 370 sales this past year.
And this graph is representing the condos in Park City were up 11% from 293 to 324. And Snyderville Basin is down 14% from 368 to 317. I think it would be important to note here that last year around this time there was a lot of new construction that was selling. So there was a lot of properties being absorbed at this time last year, and that's why you see that percentage being down a little bit.
That's right. Clearly not an indicator of a lack of interest, more a lack of inventory and choices to buy. This graph here takes a look at vacant land, lots for sale. Looking at this comparison in the city limits, there were just 20 sales this past year, only 28 the year before. Statistically, it's a 29% drop, but there just aren't a lot of lots within the Park City city limits. pretty level here in the Snyderville Basin, climbing by 2 sales from 159 to 160. So lot market remains pretty stable as long as there's lots available to be purchased. And we like to look at the average time that it's taking for homes to sell and see if that's an indicator of market changes. You can see here that the average time of a home that has sold is 98 days on the market compared to 101 the year before. So actually a little faster sales than the year before, not a significant amount. But it's worth pointing out here that we have seen properties staying on the market longer, which simply means if you price your property correctly, it sells as fast, if not faster, than a year ago. If you overprice it, then it's anyone's guess exactly how long it would take to sell if it sells at all. Now with that in mind, Dean, let's talk about prices. The good news is they keep going up. Let's look at homes, medium home sold prices, Dean.
The median home sold price in Park City area is up 11% from $1,532,500 to $1.7 million. And then we have a 4% increase in the Snyderville Basin from $931,000 to $965,000. So still seeing some good appreciation there.
Mm-hmm. That Snyderville Basin is really trying to push that $1 million figure. We're going to watch it each month, see when it hits it. Here we're looking at condominiums, and the condominium prices in the city limits risen by 6% from a median price of $645,000 to $685,000. So a nice $40,000 profit there year over year. Look at that Snyderville Basin, 20% climbing from $406,550 $50 being the median price, all the way up to $487,500. So nice to see the appreciation continue in the Park City marketplace.
And now we're going to take a look at the vacant lots. In Park City, we saw a 2% increase from $700,000 to $712,500. It's important to note that this was a very small sampling. Only 20 properties were sold in the past year. And then the Snyderville Basin saw a 10% increase from $410,500 to $450,000. So good increases on those vacant lots.
All right. Now we give a lot of our statistics in terms of medium sold prices, and I just want to take a moment here to talk about why. They often show us the precise behavior of the market, and there's a relationship between medium sold price and the absorption rate. So let me begin by defining what the absorption rate is. The absorption rate tells us how long it should take for the current inventory of similar properties to sell in our marketplace. And what we do in order to calculate the absorption rate is we identify comparable sold properties to, say, your property, if we're talking to you because that's what you would care about. We calculate the rate of sales by looking at similar properties going back a year and seeing how many sold over the past year. And if 6 sold over a whole year, then one can say that they're selling at a rate of 1 sale every 2 months or every 60 days. Then we look at the current inventory of properties and we project that to come up with an absorption rate. How long will it take for the current inventory of properties to be absorbed by the market based upon last year's rate of sales? So if that makes sense, now let's focus in on a graph. And Dean, why don't you talk us through this one?
Yeah, so to further expand on what Ron was talking about as far as absorption rate, the median home sales price in Park City area was $1,850,000. If you price your property at or below that, you can expect it to sell, or the absorption rate would be within 4 months. Now, if you're over that mark, your absorption rate turns into 18.3 months. So there's a significant difference there.
So we're naturally looking at what is the appropriate price for your property based on its location, its features, etc. But we always want to look at this absorption rate because you may have a requirement that you want to sell quicker versus taking a longer period of time. And so this is an important statistic. Now here we're looking at the Snyderville Basin, basically the same information, the medium sold price $982,000 with sales properties priced under that number less than 2 months to sell on average based upon the inventory and last year's sales. Project on property prices above that median price, it goes all the way out to 10 months. So This is really quite significant. If you price your property at or below the applicable medium sold price for your property, it will likely sell in the 2 to 4 month range. If, however, you price your property above the medium sold price, you may be looking at 10 to 18 months. Now, that's a huge difference. Now, if you're not in a hurry, you want that higher price, absolutely price it higher and give yourself the time in order to get that money. But if you have a situation where you want to sell faster for whatever reason, then don't ignore medium sold price. That's our point here. We always ask sellers when we come out to their property to evaluate it, to let them know what the market's doing. Is your property for sale and for keeps? It's a little bit funny here, but after talking about that statistic with the medium sold price and the absorption rate, it's worth noting that you as a seller determine the price of your property, and you choose whether you're likely to sell it within your time frame or whether you're likely to keep it. With that in mind, we're transitioning now. The snow's melted, the ski resorts are closed, into the home selling season. Pretty interesting time.
Yes, it is. I know I've been very active here lately. A lot of buyers have been contacting me. People are coming into town starting to look at properties, so it's a very busy time of the year. Talking to other realtors in town, they're telling me more of the same.
Yep.
So it's certainly been picking up.
Best time to put your property on the market, if you're thinking about it, is between May and June, and so for all intent and purposes, it's now. Most people want to know what's been happening within their neighborhood as they're contemplating that, and so we're going to show you an easy way to do it. All you do is go to our website, BuyParkCity.com, and then you can search by subdivisions in our pull-down menu. Let me just show this to you real quickly. Here's our homepage on BuyParkCityRealEstate.com, and you'll see a number of pull-down menus here across the top. If you go to this one, search by subdivisions, we have a number of the key major multiple listing service areas. There's Jeremy Ranch, Park Meadows, Pine Brook, or whatever. If your property is within that area, all you have to do is click that. If not, in this field here, you can put your specific condominium name or subdivision, whatever is your preference here. Once you click it, whether you fill in the blank form or choose one of the pull-down choices, it will take you to a page, in this case Thames Canyon, to give you information on Thames Canyon. You'll be able to watch the most recent webinar on the Thames Canyon marketplace, and then you slide down and you'll see all the properties for sale in that neighborhood. If you want, you can sort it by price range if you have particular criteria. That's how you find out what's been selling in your condominium project or price range. If you're interested in finding out specifically about recent sales, that is solds, then all you do is go to our website and you choose BuyParkCityRealEstate.com/recent sales, and that will take you to an online form. You simply fill it out and we will send you information about the sold properties in your neighborhood or in your condominium property. So it's very simple. Go to BuyParkCityRealEstate.com, find out about sales in your neighborhood, and if you're interested in knowing what your property is worth, we're happy to give you a free property value assessment. Just reach out to us to let us know that you'd like us to see your property. And I would say, lie the fact that we are now mid-June, act now, because we're in the heat of the market, particularly for single-family homes. Families think about transferring from schools for their kids, like to move at this time of the year. With that in mind, let's talk about flood zones.
Let's do it.
If your Park City property is located in a flood zone, your lender will require you to obtain flood insurance to get a mortgage. If you already own a home, it's in the flood zone, and you've got a mortgage, you already have flood insurance because you were required to get it. But even if your lender does not require flood insurance, there's 3 good reasons why you may want to have flood insurance. First of all, of course, it gives you peace of mind, and not that we have floods here in Park City very often, but occasionally we have that 100-year flood that rolls in and affects some area. So if that's of concern, peace of mind is important. You'll also have insurance coverage if you need it, and so it actually will take care of the need should it arise. But it is also a benefit when you go to sell your home in the future. So the key question that you have to ask is your property located in a flood zone? The reason why we're even talking about this right now is that FEMA is in the process of reclassifying the National Flood Hazard Layer. And you can go to this address here if you want to get some more information. But if you go there, you'll basically see a chart here. Now this happens to be of the Prospector area, and you can tell that it's color coordinated, and the blue area represents the flood zone. Some of the other areas represent areas that are not in the flood zone. You would actually see a slightly different diagram there where you would actually see the homes. It's important as you determine whether you really need to have flood insurance or not. Since the mapping is underway and it's being defined, this might impact you, and you may or may not get a notice, so we want to make sure you're aware of it or that you know how you can find out whether this will impact you. There's 4 possible scenarios. One is that you're not in the flood zone and you don't have to think about this anymore. The other is that you're in a flood zone and you're going to stay in that flood zone and you're already pretty much aware of that, so I'm not telling you anything new here. The third option is you were in the flood zone, but now with this upcoming reclassification, you're going to be removed from it. Bad news is no one's going to contact you to let you know this. They just don't do that. So if that happens to be your situation, we're happy to look that up, find that out for you, or show you how to look it up, and you'll be happy about that, and you'll be able to cancel your flood insurance if that's your situation. The flip side of that coin is that you are not in the flood zone, but now you're going into it, and that's a bit disappointing because that means, especially if you're going to have a mortgage, you're going to be required to get flood insurance. You will be notified if this impacts you, but there's some key things that you'll want to know about in advance of that, and this is why we're talking about this here. It all comes down to cost. How much is flood insurance? And flood insurance varies because depending upon the classification of your zone will determine what your price might be. The lowest possible zoning costs approximately $400 to $500 a year for flood insurance. There are, however, other zones that could result in it going up to $1,300, even $3,000 a year for insurance. So it's very significant. We see in Zone Z that it's much less than these other zones. If you learn that your property is going to be in a flood insurance and it is not currently in a flood insurance or flood zone, you can go and get flood insurance now prior to getting a final classification, and you will receive it at the lowest possible rate, and it will be grandfathered through to the time that they classify you, so that even if they would otherwise down the road perhaps charge you $3,000 a year for insurance, they might only charge you $500 now by getting it sooner. That's important to do. And you can transfer that to the next buyer. That is a significant buying point because, well, think about it for a moment. If your premium was $3,000 a year and someone owned a property for 10 years, there's $30,000. That becomes an important thing in our hands from a negotiating point of view, representing you as a seller, and a buyer is going to take a similar side on that when it comes to negotiation. So it does impact your final price. I've gone together with my insurance agent, who happens to be Benita Vandekoy with State Farm. She's got 25 years of experience, very, very well informed about flood insurance and the impact of these upcoming changes. And we have prepared a special webinar that goes into great detail on this. And so we've touched on the surface here, but if you want to spend a little bit more time, it probably would take 20 minutes, but we'll go into a lot more information, and if you have any interest or concern about this, you'll definitely want to watch this. So go to BuyParkCityRealEstate.com/PC Flood Zone, and you can watch this webinar that Benita and I did together and give you all the information, and we'll show you how you can find out on your own, or we're happy to look it up for you, find out whether you are being added or removed from the upcoming flood zone remapping. So with that in mind, if you have any questions, you can reach us by email, ron@thewilsteinteam.com.
Or dean@thewilsteinteam.com.
And if you'd like us to give you a call, include your phone number and the best time to reach you, and we'll be happy to do so. So with that in mind, thank you for taking the time to participate in this webinar. We trust that it's been informative and helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you for participating in our webinar today. I trust that you found it informative and helpful, and I'd simply like to leave you with 4 valuable resources. Number 1 is our Park City Link newsletter. We publish this newsletter several times a year, and it's filled with plenty of important information. It includes updates on the marketplace, changes ahead, and other topics like that. We also look at the statistics when it comes to the Park City real estate market, where prices are going either up or down. This is our Smart Seller magazine, and in it I describe how our force multiplier marketing system works. This is how we sell properties in Park City and Deer Valley, and we sell them faster than other agents and for more money, so it's well worth taking a look at. Then there are our webinars like what you're watching today. We cover a variety of subjects, from how to price your property to sell in today's market to keeping you informed about changes in the marketplace. Fourth is our property value assessment, and here's where we provide you with information as to the value of your property. We look at a comparative market analysis of homes or condominiums within your neighborhood or condo project, and then we also look at other properties that a buyer would consider if they were considering your property. This will help you determine what is the fair market value for your property today. If you're interested in receiving the Park City Link newsletter or the Smart Seller magazine, simply send me an email at info@thewilsteinteam.com, and I'll be sure to get that out to you. Or if you wish, you can go to our website, viewparkcityrealestate.com, and sign up for them there. Finally, if you're interested in that free property value assessment, go to our website, viewparkcityrealestate.com, scroll down on the home page to the Learn What Your Property is Worth in Today's Market. Take a minute, actually less, to fill out the form, and we'll contact you and arrange a time to see your property, get you the information you want, and have that property value assessment. We're here as a team to take care of anything and everything you need concerning your Park City real estate needs. Thank you for participating in our webinar. Our next Park City Market Talk webinar will be available for you to watch around the 15th of next month.